The Mausoleum at Halicarnassus, or Tomb of Mausolus, a ancient Greek. Mu alpha upsilon sigma omega lambda epsilon omicron nu tau sigma liquor lasso, Turkish. Halicarnassus Mausolasi was a tomb built between 353 and 351 BC in Halicarnassus, present Bodrum, Turkey, for Mausolus, an Anatolian from Caria and a satrap in the Achaemenid Persian Empire, and his sister wife Artemisia II of Caria. The structure was designed by the Greek architects Satyros and Pythias of Priene. Its elevated tomb structure is derived from the tombs of neighboring Lycia, a territory Mausolus had invaded and annexed c. 360 BC, such as the Nereid Monument. The mausoleum was approximately 45 meters, 148 feet in height, and the four sides were adorned with sculptural reliefs, each created by one of four Greek sculptors, Leiochares, Bryaxis, Scopas of Paros, and Timotheus. The mausoleum contained 400 freestanding sculptures. The mausoleum was considered to be such an aesthetic triumph that Antipater of Sidon identified it as one of his 7 wonders of the ancient world. It was destroyed by successive earthquakes from the 12th to the 15th century. It was the last surviving of the 6 destroyed wonders. The word mausoleum has now come to be used generically for an above-ground tomb. In the 4th century BC, Halicarnassus was the capital of the small regional kingdom of Caria within the Achaemenid Empire on the western coast of Asia Minor. In 377 BC, the nominal ruler of the region, Hecatomnus of Melas, died and left control of the kingdom to his son, Mausolus. Hecatomnus, a local dynasty under the Persians, took control of several of the neighboring cities and districts. After Artemisia and Mausolus, he had several other daughters and sons, Ada, adoptive mother of Alexander the Great, Idrius, and Pixidaris. Mausolus extended his territory as far as the southwest coast of Anatolia, invading, in particular, the territory of Lycia, remarkable for its numerous monumental tombs such as the tombs at Xanthos, from which he took his inspiration for his mausoleum. Artemisia and Mausolus ruled from Halicarnassus over the surrounding territory for 24 years. Mausolus, although descended from local people, spoke Greek and admired the Greek way of life and government. He founded many cities of Greek design along the coast and encouraged Greek democratic traditions. Mausolus decided to build a new capital, one as safe from capture as it was magnificent to be seen. He chose the city of Halicarnassus. Artemisia and Mausolus spent huge amounts of tax money to embellish the city. They commissioned statues, temples, and buildings of gleaming marble. In 353 BC, Mausolus died, leaving Artemisia to rule alone. As the Persian satrap and as the Hecatomnid dynasty, Mausolus had planned for himself an elaborate tomb. When he died, the project was continued by his siblings. The tomb became so famous that Mausolus's name is now the eponym for all stately tombs in the word mausoleum. Artemisia lived for only 2 years after the death of her husband. The urns with their ashes were placed in the yet unfinished tomb. As a form of sacrifice, the bodies of a large number of dead animals were placed on the stairs leading to the tomb, and then the stairs were filled with stones and rubble, sealing the access. According to the historian Pliny the Elder, the craftsmen decided to stay and finish the work after the death of their patron, considering that it was at once a memorial of his own fame and of the sculptor's art. Citation needed. It is likely that Mausolus started to plan the tomb before his death as part of the building works in Halicarnassus, so that when he died, Artemisia continued the building project. Artemisia spared no expense in building the tomb. She sent messengers to Greece to find the most talented artists of the time. These included Scopas, the man who had supervised the rebuilding of the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. The famous sculptors were in the Vitruvius order: Leiochares, Bryaxis, Scopas, and Timotheus, as well as hundreds of other craftsmen. The tomb was erected on a hill overlooking the city. The whole structure sat in an enclosed courtyard. At the center of the courtyard was a stone platform on which the tomb sat. A stairway flanked by stone lions led to the top of the platform, which bore along its outer walls many statues of gods and goddesses. At each corner, stone warriors mounted on horseback guarded the tomb. At the center of the platform, the marble tomb rose as a square tapering block to 1/3 of the mausoleum's 45 meters, 148 feet height. This section was covered with bas-reliefs showing action scenes, including the battle of the centaurs with the Lapiths and Greeks in combat during the Amazonoma. On the top of this section of the tomb, 36 slim columns, 10 per side, with each corner sharing one column between two sides, rose for another third of the height. Standing between each pair of columns was a statue. Behind the columns was a solid cella-like block that carried the weight of the tomb's massive roof. The roof, which comprised most of the final third of the height, was pyramidal. Perched on the top was a quadriga, for massive horses pulling a chariot in which rode images of Mausolus and Artemisia. Modern historians have pointed out that 2 years would not be enough time to decorate and build such a complex and extravagant building. Therefore, it is believed that construction was begun by Mausolus before his death or continued by the next leaders.